Hey everyone, so it's Finch here. I guess I'm gonna do another video. Just got out of call. I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I don't feel like typing all this shit out, especially because my keyboard's kind of busted. So I've been using like an extension like keyboard, and it's just kind of annoying and loud to type with. And I'm just like, you know what, I'll just pop this out. Hopefully, we'll keep it under an hour this time. No promises though. But yeah, let's get into the games. You know the business. You know the drill. Runers against Chronicles. Runers came out on top against my team last week, whereas the Chronicles tied a pretty shaky Classiest team. But I do think that they've shaken up their lineup to hopefully generate a bit more success, even if it might be through a bit more questionable means. That's okay. Let me just get a bit closer so content be heard well. All right, so hopefully my voice is clear as day here. But anyway, looking at the matchups here, let's start with the SMOU games. So we're gonna see Empo in over Corey, and also C Dumas still in, and we've got pretty cool games here. C Dumas against CVB, two players that are pretty dynamic, I'd say. C Dumas piloted a team that was pretty interesting against EO. It definitely matched up well. Really good preparation on his behalf or his team's behalf, and just solid execution. And he won pretty handily there. The two Magic Guard Pokemon against Toxic Spikes, Toxapex, plus Subtoxic Zygarde just was great. He had the defensive presence and the ability to break through in the long haul, so that was good. Whereas CBB kind of stumbled through his first SM game, might have got off on the wrong foot in all honesty against Sabella. But Sabella is a good player, of course, and CBB is definitely not one to underestimate. He's very aggressive with his plays, and he's got a pretty good grasp on team building, I'd say. Asteroid favor in this game, I think I'd take C Dumas, but I think it'd be like 51-49 kind of business because both are really good players. I think a lot will come down to who prepares better and just who's able to, pull the trigger more at the end, which very well could be CBB. So that's kind of why I really have it around 50-50 as opposed to favoring C Dumas, who's now 4-1 and just off to another really good start, I'd say. As for the SM game number two, Empo against AIM, it pits two pretty similar players against each other, I'd say. Empo's one of the more aggressive guys out there, of course, and he's known for using these kind of quirky, hyper offensive builds that just kind of balls to the wall, and he just pilots them at a very high level. Whereas AIM is a pretty instinctual lead based player, although he's definitely capable of falling back on kind of the optimal play when in the winning position, making him a pretty good pilot in all honesty. As for what favor here, I think I'm going to give the slight edge to AIM. He's coming off a loss last week, and I feel like that doesn't really affect him as much as it does other players because he plays the game so often. I mean, his YouTube channel is just a big testament to that, and he's pretty in touch with this metagame among pretty much every other metagame. But yeah, he's definitely going to play a solid game. And Empo's probably got a higher ceiling of the two, actually. But my thing with Empo is he's just kind of been in and out all tour, and he's never really gotten his footing. And I don't know if he's been able to compete against a great player like AIM. But I'd say I'd give it 55-45 in favor of AIM. However, Empo is someone who could beat anyone on any given day. You saw that in his winning of SmackDown Classic, of course. He got like the Final Four of SmackDown Tour. He's coming off a very good year, and he's shown everything for us to believe that he is a good player. He is the real deal. But I just think AIM has been out there a bit longer, a bit more established, and I think he's kind of just almost better at Empo's game than Empo. He's used a variety of teams, which Empo actually has shown recently that he's capable of doing. He also pilots them all pretty well, and I think that with the help of CVB and even Pollock in the back, AIM is going to come in with a good team for the match and just kind of pilot it well enough. I'm getting into lower tier games because I think these are probably a bit less exciting for me personally than OU games. Of course, that might just be me currently as someone who plays OU a bit more than even NU, but also the other lower tiers. But Bush Tush against Harry Toenail, aka HT. Definitely favoring HT here. Bush Tush last week actually bought a really cool, just pretty standard, but nice offensive team and just overloaded his opponent with momentum. He did choke a bit late game, but I think that he was at such an advantageous position that it didn't end up mattering regardless, especially since that turn ended up going his way anyway. But yeah, that's a kind of a warning sign. HT has been pretty solid overall, some miscues here and there, but I think that he's been one of the top 5, maybe 6 EU players in the tournament so far after a pretty disappointing snake. Definitely favoring him here, though. I'm going to go 55-45 just because Bush Tush has shown he can at least compete at this level, although I don't think he's great. Chill Shadow against Nat. Now, I'm a bit unsure how to really, how do I put it? I don't know how to read Nat because Really unfortunate stake. Went 2-7, but also got unlucky. Um, sorry. I think I have to favor Chill Shadow just because she's been like touted as one of the top IU players. He had a pretty strong performance against my player Winsong last week, just dominant victory. And after starting 0-3, he's now 2-3, and I think he's poised to finish positive. Whereas Nat, albeit had a really strong showing last week, and I think that Snake was an unfair representation of how she is as a player. She's just less established and proven than Chill Shadow is outright. So yeah, I definitely favor. Sorry, I favor Chill Shadow here. I'm going to go 60-40. But if Nat plays like she did last week and just brings another really solid momentum-based offensive team, then by all means, she can, of course, win this. As for NU game, I'm going to avoid those awkward breaks. I'm sorry about that pause. That was really bad. I just really wasn't sure what to say, honestly. Because when you're like writing predictions, like it's just like easier. Whereas if you're just like talking them at once, if you haven't like thought it through beforehand, and this is totally just like last second, then yeah, it gets a bit awkward. But anyway, NU game Lax against Ice T. Ice T's shown us no reason to believe that he's been gonna not really show up. He showed up to play every single week and he played pretty well. When I say not show up, I mean not play a good game, just he's not like really an NU player, but that not like actually not show up. He's not like blurry or fakes or whatever. He's not one of those Germans. Wow, I just totally stereotyped. Yikes. But anyway, yeah, Ice T's been impressive. He has a win handed to him, or a win or two handed to him, honestly, but by all means, he's been better than the other NU players. And Lax just doesn't stand out to me in terms of playing ability. His team building is what's going to win him this game if he does win the game. And I think Ice T has been diverse enough to where he definitely can compete, even if he's in a disadvantageous position from preview. And given that and the fact that you can't really bank on having a great matchup, given the current state of NU and just the slight versatility Ice T has shown so far, I'm favoring Ice T. I'd say 60-40. Yeah. Doubles game. All right. So Troven is someone who I'm pretty interested in. Um, on the one hand, he kind of just sat there during Snake and helped John out here and there, but he didn't really show much current metagame competency. And then he started the tournament 0-3, but since then he's won his last two games, I believe. Perhaps the support of QSNS and just kind of the nature of the Ruiners right now winning two straight, just kind of pumped him up and got him in form. I do think he might have taken some unnecessary risks that kind of just went his way, and maybe that's just let the cookie crumble in his favor. I don't know. I don't know doubles well enough, but he's been doing well. But Biosai, on the other hand, is just one of the best SPL players been. So yeah, given that, I'm favoring Bioside just because I get Bioside, but Kroven interests me. Intrigues me. I wouldn't be surprised if he won this game. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up winning a couple. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up losing out. It's just kind of a question mark. And I do like Kroven a lot. Maybe I'm a bit biased in his favor, seeing more of the upside than not, especially since he just beat my player. But favoring Bioside, I'm going to say 55-45, when normally this would be like 65-35 or something, more lopsided. Yeah, this Kroven's in this bitch. All right, let's go with Tyranitar Cup tiers next. Oras OU, he's got Hai against Poek. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the former. I don't really know how his name is pronounced, even though he just won the Smog Tour. Oh, well. Poek is definitely someone I'm favoring here. He's just a better player overall. I do think last week he got outplayed pretty thoroughly, actually, by his main. But his team was good enough, and he didn't really make any mistakes all game, so it just kind of went his way. So I'm going to favor him over High, who did win pretty convincingly against X-Ray. He got really lucky early on, but his team matched up well against the stall X-Ray built, and I think he probably had the win regardless. So given that, I'm going to say that we'll favor Poek 60-40 just because he's been really good in Oras historically. Every team tour, OLT, you name it. He's just been dominant in Oras, and I think that's where he belonged all along, and I think now he's got there. And I think he's going to do well there. I really like that decision by Teal and Zamrock to switch him up. However, speaking of decisions by Teal and Zamrock, I do not like this one. Putting in Ari Stella and Black White doesn't make much sense to me. Funkasaurus is 2-3 and did bring a pretty questionable team last week and lost against a weaker player in the field right now. Not necessarily a weaker player overall. Shoka's a good player. Lose against Shoka. And that is reason to be concerned. But Funk has a really good track record against Zoro, and he's worked with Zoro in the past in SPL. Even if it wasn't in Black White, but in general, like Funk has legitimately like tested with MLC. And I think Funk just kind of finds a way to get on top of Zoro Dark more often than not. I think that he naturally is kind of matched up well, and I would predict Funk to actually upset Zoro Dark, is what I'm saying. And Aristella, I think that unless she gets ghosted, which, yeah, Pit Vipers, it's pretty likely Ice T Poet, and even, I don't know if CBB, I hope not. I hope none of these guys ghost. I really honestly hope this is legitimately Aristella grinding up in Black White OU, and I know she's played the tier like here and there and like friendlies in the past. I hope she's clicking all of her moves and making the decisions. And if that's the case, then I definitely have to favor Zora Dark like 70-30, just because I don't think she's known for Black White. But maybe she could prove. I hope she proves me wrong. I really don't want to see some like ghosting nonsense, and I'd love to see another Black White player emerge. That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, actually sort of rooting for Ari Stella to like prove me and others wrong in a sense, especially since I kind of feel bad that I had an incident regarding her in the past. But Zora Dark's the clear favorite here. Zora is really solid. I know he's kind of had some activity issues recently, maybe. Maybe it just hasn't been in public as much, been kind of quiet. But he's solid, really, really solid. I think he's 2-1 now. Could be 1-2, but whatever it is, he's gonna win this game in all likelihood, I'd say. DPP, we three kings against Sweepage. Last week, we three kings, Haxed Honor. I mean, the Runers seem to think otherwise, but like the missed Focus Blast and the Freeze and the missed Fire Blast to Sleep Turns crit. Nasty Plot Infernape surely was going to win that game if he ever got a free turn, and if like the Snorlax was sleeping, he's going to get a free turn later on. The last Pokemon wasn't a spin blocker on his team. Yeah, that game annoys me. Honor definitely was a better player there, and I'm pretty salty about that one actually. Yeah, but we three kings brought a cool team with Torment Tran. I liked what it was. I don't think the Zapdos matchup was outstanding, and it's something Honor frequents. But outside of that, I think it was a good team choice. It definitely would have got some surprise value behind the Tran, but I think it also synergized really well with the team, so it was cool. But on the other hand, Sweepage is coming off a loss, and you feel like Sweepage kind of just like he goes with the flow as a player, like his own flow. I mean, like he's either really good or really bad, and he had a pretty bad start, and I don't know if he's ever going to pick it up. But if he does, I think it's going to be this week, and then he's going to go on like for 2 or 3 weeks, and then maybe he'll fall back down. That's just kind of how he is as a player. But after seeing last week and just We Three Kings in general as a player, I'm favoring We Three Kings. I'm really high on him as an overall player, even if last week wasn't his best performance. I don't know if DPP is necessarily his best here. Probably behind ADV, RBY, maybe even GSC, but he still is good enough to compete. I really think he's a great player overall, and therefore I'd favor him 55-45 against the Lord Sweepage, father of Brofest. All right, let's get to these three tiers. Actually, I'm going to pause for a second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm sorry about that. Just had to take a 1-second break there to respond to a text message. Anyway, yeah, this is my mom, by the way. No, I'm no social butterfly. Another decision that really strikes me as questionable is putting London Beats in ADV. Danilo's heat, man. I like his style. I guess they're probably mad that what happened last week. He did get kind of unlucky, but he kind of handed away a free win in a sense that he could have taken a timer win. But like apparently his cloud is boosted now, so I mean, a fully clouded Danilo is something that you really can't take lightly. And I think that he definitely give Undisputed a better fight than London Beat, who has no track record in ADV whatsoever. Quite frankly, I wonder why they didn't put Aristotle in ADV if she was going to start there the other week. But I don't know. I guess they've got the prioritization of old gen subs on this laughable Cryonicles bench. No offense intended, by the way. But anyway, gonna assume he's not getting ghosted, but gonna say there's a pretty high chance of it happening to both him and Aristotle. But again, let's hope for the best. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. London Beats his no track record. Undisputed is 4-1. He did get pretty lucky last week. For example, if the Wheezing got like burned, didn't get hacked, then I think that Triangles there's a pretty damn good chance. But at the same time, Triangles did misplay late game. Could have at least came down to like an Arrow speed tie. If last was Mence and not Arrow for Undisputed, then could have been odds-on favorite to win. But Undisputed kind of just played a whatever game. I mean, that game was like 12 turns, came down to like a hacks and hitting and missing and flinching. And it didn't really show much, but besides that, in the 3-1 first half, he's really good. I think his team choice, he probably uses a bit too much the same sort of offensive play style, specifically Jolteon spikes. I know he's used like 2 or 3 times already, whereas London Beats is no really established style. So perhaps Undisputed can vary a bit from that, and if comfortable, and London Beats just kind of goes all in and prepping for that, and then Undisputed comes out on top. I think Undisputed is smart enough to pull that off. So yeah, gonna favor Undisputed here, like 75-25, because London Beats is no ADP player. Kiba Solcata, Kiba used a Raichu last week, and Solcata won the clinching game last week, even if he didn't get lucky. Gonna favor Solcata just because Chiba I don't think is actually gonna show up, care, etc. Gonna say 51-49 no, just because if Chiba does show up, he's clearly better than Solcata. Yeah, so Solcata's favored. That's that. A lot of people are gonna disagree with that. A lot of people are still on Chiba's dick. I just didn't have to see it. And Solcata is now 3-2. I mean, it's kind of a fluky 3-2. He's misplayed a lot, actually, but he's winning games, and Tiba did not play a winning game last week. So, yeah, anyway, we're going to get to the RBY game in just 1 second. Okay, sorry, still responding to my mother. Anyway, Piusone against Rudolph 13. Rudolph played kind of whatever against Marco. Another guy that, wow, I'm pretty salty at the Ruiners, not going to lie. He didn't really misplay a ton besides the end of game 2, where he just kind of flat out threw a 100% win by not going for sleep in a couple of, like, there was like a 3-turn sequence where it's just like, what is happening? And Fuse beat Lush, who's actually now benched. Lush, yeah, whatever the fuck it is. Anyway, I think PS is going to win. I give him like a 65-35 chance. Let's get down to the actual games that I could like do some proper analysis on. All right. So I'm going to get into this series. The Classiest against the Scooters. So the Classiest did manage to tie last week against a pretty weak Sharks team, and now they're playing, I mean, a pretty weak compared to the field standings wise Scooters team, even though I think they're pretty decent. So I guess they've got some hope, but I don't really agree with the direction this team is going. And there's a game that has Eden's Embrace against Ojama, so it's kind of self-explanatory as to why that might be a problem. No offense to my boy Eden's Embrace, by the way, really nice guy, but he's not anywhere within the realm of closeness to Ojama. But let's get into SM games. Oh, actually, let's first go back up to this series. So I had Sidu game HT, Chill, ICT, Biocide, Poic, Zoro, We Three Kings, Undi, Solcata, Pius. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7-5 in favor of the Chronicles. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Anyway, let's get to this series. All right, so you got Sabella against Lefties. Pretty cool game. Lefties looks like he didn't really lose a step in a couple months he's gone. Really high on him currently. I think he's great. I think he's motivated even though his team's kind of down. And I think I'm going to favor him against Sabella, who had a good showing last week. He was a really creative team. I like it. But Lefties is flat out better, I think. Black Oblivion against Flaming Victini. I'm going to say 60-40 lefties. Black Oblivion against Flaming Victini. FV is just kind of played a kind of passive early game, and then his opponent, BTB, after playing really solid early, kind of made a mistake letting his blue go late game, but also FV just matched up really well. I like the team he used. His opponent used an interesting team with like Garchomp and whatnot. I wasn't too high on it, but it is all right. But yeah, his prep kind of carried him there, and just playing passive optimal-ish all game. Black Oblivion's actually 4-1, I believe it or not. But I still think FV's a league ahead of him as a player. I'm going to say 60-40 FV. Black Oblivion's been making strides and playing pretty solid, but I don't think he's amazing. I think sometimes he just has a high ceiling and he streaks ahead, like he's went like 2-0 in World Cup, then he lost to EO. Like I feel like this is kind of similar. Like FV is just the better player in my eyes, I guess. FV's good, like legit. Like he's one of the top 7 SMLU players in my opinion. So yeah, gonna go 60-40 in favor of him. The lower tier games are gonna be Thackeray against Lycans, Ajna against Fellyburn, and Pogis against Eternally. Pardon that. All right. So as for these, I'm gonna be favoring Lycans, Ajna, and Eternally. Just straight up. But I gotta say all of them are Okay, UU and NU are pretty damn close. RU, I don't know what to think. Because Oscar's gotten his shit handed to him recently a couple times. I think he's lost two of his last three. Might have been all three actually. I don't know. He's 2-3 though. And Felly Burns just hasn't been there really this tour. Like he's made some plays, but he's been outclassed in general. But I'm gonna say 60-40 Ajna. As for Zachary Lycans, Lycans is really dynamic with his team building and just a great overall player. Not afraid to take risks. I'm really high on him. I wish that he played a bit more OU just because I really loved the way he plays though. But UU seems to be his best here at the moment. I'm gonna say 60-40. Zachary's just not been at his best this tour. And as for NU, Eternally is bound to win some games eventually. He's just too solid at the tier, especially when it comes to knowledge and building. Not to. And Pogis is coming back off of being benched for some reason I can't explain, but he's pretty average for the field. And I think Eternity's got a higher ceiling. Just gonna go with Eternally 55-45. Yeah, okay. Doubles game. Um, EMBCPT is just hot fired, whatever. You know, he makes all these weird plays, uses these cool teams. But Miltank Milk, I feel, is a more conventional, just doubles player. I'm gonna favor him, but it's gonna be close. I'm gonna say like 51-49. Just I don't know enough, honestly. All right, let's get to the turn attack up tiers again. Zenane against Mounts. Zenane's been the better player so far, clearly, in my opinion. He's just dominated. Even last week in his loss, he played really well. Mounts probably should have another win or two under his belt, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, I think his team choices have been kind of, and he's misplayed here and there. I like seeing this guy play, though, Mounts. I think he's really cool. I think he really likes Oras, and I kind of I dig that about him in this scene right now. But I'm going to have to favor Zenane. I just think he's better of the two. I'm going to say 55-45. As for this black-white game, Aladdin's been pretty decent so far, and Shoka I'm still not sold on. His team last week was kind of weird. The game in general last week was weird. I'm going to say Aladdin 55-45. But, I mean, that's not really a confident 55-45 because historically I think Shoka probably is the better player. Not by much. So, yeah, Night Fox against Badoosh. This is a thinker, real thinker. Let's say, um, boy, I the thing is, I want to pick Badoosh because I know Night Fox just kind of spams offensive shit, and none of his opponents really taken advantage of it so far. Besides, the Honor sort of did, but then Honor threw against him like pretty badly. Like honestly, like ugh. Don't get me started on that game. I still love Honor. Don't get me wrong, but he could have handled that a bit better. But anyway, I don't know if Badoosh is active in carrying enough to really take advantage of that. And I think that Night Fox pilots these offensive teams that he brings well enough to where it's not going to matter. So I'm going to say Night Fox 55-45. All right, let's get into the main event. Eden's Embrace against Ojama. This is not so much an SPL match as it is a testament to the approach of the classiest during midseason. This could be Ojama against Golden Sun, or even Jimmy Churchwig, and then we're gonna have Mr. 378, which is an upgrade in GSC. Like this game would be like close, but no, it's Eden's Embrace, and I just want us all to take a second and think about that. And I really hope that Isa and Hack, if he's really paying attention, don't take this like offensively. If they do, I don't think either of them are gonna watch this. Honestly, I don't think they're gonna care. But no, I've got a lot of respect for the team unity because the Classics clearly are a close knit team, and I like that a lot about any manager. If they could do that, that's good. I really just don't agree with the decision. As much as Eden's Embrace is a nice guy, I don't think you want ADV support when you're in a hole like that. I think you need some dynamic risk that can maybe propel your team in the right direction, and I just don't know if they have that in this. I'm going to say 25-75. I think Ojama is going to stomp all over this guy. That's that. Yeah, no. Jimmy Pertwee against Gara and Heroic Troller against Alexander. I'm favoring Jimmy and Troller, actually. I think Troller is one hell of a player. I think over the last year, he's actually proven to be one of the top, like, 3 performers in RBY Tours on Pokemon Perfect. And I actually really wanted him. It was either him or Beds, and then we kind of just got Marco for 10K. It just fell into our laps, and I love Marco, don't get me wrong. Man, Troller, I'm super high on this guy. I think he's fantastic. And I think Alexander's bound to regress a bit towards the mean of like being a 5-4 player in RBY, which I just kind of see him as. It's probably an upset pick. I'm gonna go 51-49 Troller though. Could go either way, yeah. But these guys have played in the past, and I feel like both of them and Beds are around the same level. I think Troller is just kind of more motivated to really prove that he's an SPL player right now. And I think that chip, especially when both these teams are in the brink, and Alexander just isn't really like a very emotional guy. He just kind of like passes around random Italian offenses and just plays his games. Yeah, I'm favoring Troller. I think he's got the better mental game, and he's got just as good of the in-game RBY stuff going, even if he's got less experience. 149 and Jimmy Turtwig, I just think is better than Guerra. I've never been very enthusiastic about Guerra and GSC, and I think Jimmy is just pretty solid. He did lose last week in a kind of unfortunate game, in a really important game too. Could have won the set, but I like Jimmy. I think he's going to do well here. So yeah, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 7, 7 games, 7-5 in favor of the Scooters. And all right, once we get here, I'm just going to pause once again for a moment. All right, so we got the Tyrants against the Raiders. Sorry about that. I'm still texting my mother. Casual conversation. She's not like trying to kill me or something. It's just for anyone trying to wondering, you know. Anyway, Raiders did something cool with their lineup. TDK into RU over Mael, who probably just isn't very enthusiastic about RU. They still kept Jirachi ADV, BKC Black White. And they still have Shake and SM. I really like this. So I'm gonna go through the SM games, and my mom texted me again. So I'm gonna pause again after these SM games. All right. Let's. Okay. I guess I can't. All right. Okay. Um, Shake and Psychic Mewtwo. I actually believe I calculated this earlier, and according to the formula that I utilized, Shake has a 61.5% chance of emerging victorious against Psychic Mewtwo. So, given that formula that I derived out of Shake's vast experiences in pocket monsters at a high competitive level, I'm going to be going with him here. Nothing else needs to be said. Zamog against Gondra. Gondra's clearly the better player so far, in my opinion. Zom, I'm just not too high on. I think Blunder. I think you almost want to try GTM and SM at this point. Blunder said I'm playing Oras, but I'm not inside that team's chat. I don't know what's going on. So Blunder definitely needs to be in lineup, and I feel like GTM's almost too good to bench when you've got PM2 and Zamog in. Especially Zamog, I think that GTM's just a better player than him. But Zamog is a man of many ideas, and I can respect that. But Gondra is simply the better player of the two. Gonna go Gondra 60-40 here. And Gondra's been. I think Gondra is actually going to really stand out as a player in the near future. I think he's great. All right, the lower tier games. Let's see what we got. So we have Fristo against Pac and UU. Silent Verse against TDK, who previously mentioned, and RU, who I'm pretty fine with that change. And CBO's L2 came Meeps against Zukushiku and NU. Gonna be favoring Pac, TDK, and Meeps here. Pac's been on fire. He's 5-0. There's really no reason to predict the end at this point. He's playing well. Teams have probably been the best for anyone UU. And I think Cristo, if anyone's going to beat Pac, it probably could be Cristo. I think he's been playing pretty well. But I do think that there are some things that can be taken advantage of within his team so far. And I feel like Pearl, in conjunction with Pac, are gonna have to combine brains to just bail out. Wow, okay, I just turned SMUU into the thinking man's tier with the brains there. But anyway, I'm gonna say Pac 55-45. As for RU, you don't really know what to expect with TDK in the new tier, I guess, but he's kind of done well in various formats before. I think that if any OU player is going to transition to like lower tiers like that, it's going to be TDK. I think he's going to do pretty well. I'm going to favor him against Silentverse, who is still pretty damn solid, but I like TDK here. I'm going to say like 51-49. Just because TDK, I think, is a better player, just kind of more with the times and whatnot. Meeps, I like against Zukushiku. The thing with Meeps is that he tends to just use like all over the place kind of teams. And they've been working out pretty well so far. Last week he got a bit unlucky. Zuku just kind of took his foot off the gas last week, and it just didn't work out. So yeah, I can't say I'm really too fond of that, and I think that's a bit of a concerning thing. But I think Zuku's been fine otherwise. But yeah, I'm favoring Meeps. Let's go 55-45. Ugh. That was actually a hard one to predict for me, honestly, because like that could go either way. Stacks versus Sam. favoring Stacks. I just think he's great. Sam used a weird team with a pumpkin last week, and I'm a singles player, so I don't know what to think of that. But yeah, I think Stacks is just going to use more broken mod. It's going to work out. Let's say 60-40. These tiers, again, Blunder's flat out better than Ricardo, I feel. I think he's kind of unmotivated right now, but I think he's just good enough to kind of cruise through this run. Ricardo's not one to be laughed at, but I feel like he's probably better in SM. And I think Blunder is kind of being thrown into our first games against someone like Blunder. It's going to be hard. So 60-40 Blunder, Black White, Dice BKC, favoring BKC. Hard to root against 5-0, predict against 5-0 Dice. But yeah. 1 second. Let me look at a replay. I'm just going to pause this. I want to confirm something first. All right, so I looked at the replay. BKC's team last week wasn't really bad. I actually kind of like it now that I looked at it. I just wanted to kind of confirm that. Yeah, I think BKC's grasp on Black White right now is pretty good. And I think that he's just a better player by actually a decent margin. Dice has been fine so far, but he's kind of just been autopiloting through almost, I want to say. Like, I mean, he's played like Jacob. The game against Pasho, like, he played pretty well, don't get me wrong, but he shouldn't have won that game. Like, it just kind of favored him at the end. A lot in game just kind of fell in his favor. And then last week, I mean, I don't know what to think of it. It was good. But, I think BKC's the more dynamic of the two, and I'm going to favor him. I'm going to say 55-45. And BKC's just kind of like a workhorse in Black White right now. I'm really fond of what he's doing. DPP game, we got Blue and Drosco. Bluin beat Tama, although Tama kind of did, I don't want to say throw away the game, but there's one play that I don't agree with. I think he kind of went too risky by going to the Flygon and on Shaman instead of just foddering off what I think would have been the Jirachi at that point that was low and paralyzed. And I think that probably cost him the game, the health, because then it got killed by the next Seed Flare when it got outsped the next turn. Then did still come down to a 50-50. But yeah, Lewin didn't play poorly by any means, but I think Thomas should have won that game. So I'm not really sure how much weight to put in there. Whereas Roscoe's been pretty solid so far. He's had a loss or two, if I recall correctly, but I mean, nothing really out of the ordinary. He's been one of the better players in the field. I'm definitely favoring Roscoe. Let's go 60-40. I'm really running out of a ton of things to say about ADV, GSC, and RBY, but gonna say UD's just the more seasoned of the two. I really think he's got a great grasp, one of the best grasps. Active ADV. I'm really fond of what UD's been doing lately. So gonna say 60-40 favor of UD since Jirachi's at least can beat Asta last week, even with some luck. Although Asta got lucky before, but still, Jirachi's not totally pushover, no doubt about that. So 60-40 instead of like some blowout shit like Eden's Embrace versus Ojama, forget about it. Lavos, Chulio, you know what it is. Yeah, both started off hot, then had a pretty cold week last week. The thing is, Chulio has been way more one-dimensional using like the fucking Rhydon man like 4 to 5 weeks, whereas Lavos is all over. I think Lavos is going to take advantage of this. I'm going to say he's also the better player of the two, so I'm going to favor him 55-45. Earthworm versus Metal Gross. I think Earthworm's honestly probably the more motivated of the two at this point because like Metal Gross just kind of plays his games. I think like I've heard he wasn't the most active, and the same goes for Zoradok. Maybe they got something going on. I don't know. Those guys used to be big, but they aren't anymore. So I'm not keeping ties on him now. But definitely favoring Earthworm. I think Earthworm's also probably going to kind of want to prove himself after starting off with an L last week. I'm going to say 55-45. Just Metal Gross is probably the more seasoned RBY right now, but Earthworm's the better player by pretty wide margin, and also probably he's just got his shit together. Also, think there's a decent chance that Metal Ross and Earthworm have scheduling difficulties because European versus Aussie and Metal Ross is school and shit. So yeah, I mean, I probably not worth including the prediction, but I mean, it wouldn't be totally surprised if it happens at some like weird time where people in fucking America can't even fucking spectate it. So anyway, we're going to be seeing the Wi-Fi Wolfpack against the Stark Sharks. Just going to pause it once again and then get through the series. All right, last series. Let's go. Let's keep this under an hour or whatever we're at. ABR versus Lead. No, Wolfpack Sharks. Wolfpack are surging ahead. Sharks just kind of bottomed out. They did tie last week. They're still alive in the playoff race, but really clear favorites here are going to have to do Wolf. Oh, fuck. I forgot the score for last series. Fuck. Okay, Shake, Chandra, Pack, PDK, Meeps, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, 6-3, 6-4, 6-5, 6-6, tied at 6. Okay, so we're predicting a tie, although I'd have to favor the Raiders like 55-45 overall, if that makes sense. Someone like posts, okay, whatever. I'm not looking at alerts right now. Okay, Wolfpack Sharks, as I said, Wolfpack probably clear favorites coming in. SMOU, ABR, Ledna. That's a good game. Ledna is a fire player. I love Ledna. Where the fuck did BTB go, by the way? I know there's been some feud between like him and Dragon over teams. Apparently, that guy is better than fucking Axel. Man. Axel just doesn't have it lately. If you want me to be honest. I also think that Axel's probably best off in Oros, but apparently he's not motivated in Oros. I don't know what's going on in the Sharks team. Not my comment. Maybe BTB doesn't want to play. I don't know, but that guy's real good, BTB. I like BTB a lot. Anyway, ABR Ledna. Ledna gave John a pretty close game. Started off with Rio. Really fond of how he is as a player. I think he's great. Underrated Spanish player, and I'm pretty interested to see what he brings against ABR. ABR has been bringing out all kinds of wild shit lately, kind of showing that his grasp on the tier is unmatched, and I think it's hard to predict against him. And I think that if anyone on the Sharks roster could beat him, it probably would be Ledna, actually, just because he's really consistent in playing solid games. But I think ABR is going to give himself the advantage in the pregame, and he's just going to kind of run away with it from there. So going to go 60-40 in favor of ABR. Although Ledna probably just going to bring something solid offense, and maybe he's got the right threat for ABR's kind of team. I don't see ABR going too offensive here, honestly. Maybe I'm wrong, though. And maybe that'll end up working out. I think that's a big condition that Ledna, if it happens to be apparent, then it works out in his favor. Trosco, Axel, definitely favoring Trosco here. Axel's just kind of fallen off. Trosco seems to be pretty motivated and also has the support behind. Really like Trosco, to be honest. Yeah, it's going to say 55-45 here. Lower tier games. The Wolfpack UU is really the only part of their lineup that is borderline train wreck-ish, and even then, I mean, I think that's an overstatement. I just think it's not working out for them so far. They've got CY, DNE, Sydney, Snide. I don't know what the fuck it is. I'm never going to pronounce it right. Please don't make fun of me. I try, guys. I try. Who's not working out, but they do have him in the back now, at least to support. But Void is now in. Void's a great player, but he didn't really remember that Scissor could use Swords Dance last week. Or maybe he just wasn't prepared for it. I don't know, whatever it was. He's a juggler man. He's going to be using someone else's team, probably Tony or the substitute I mentioned before. Whereas Dodman still is one of the more respectable UU mains, even though he's off to a weak start, very weak start for his standard. Unfortunately, really high expectations for him. I think he's going to pull through here, though. I'm going to say 60-40 just because Void didn't look very good in the tier last week. As for RU, favoring Soulgazer and Teta, Rodri being in probably should have happened last week. Earth actually did win, but it wasn't very convincing. He was pretty down to begin with. Either way, Teddy's been the best NU player so far, in my opinion. I'm going to say 65-35 in his favor, just because Rodri's like kind of wild. I don't know if he's got a grass in I don't know if he builds. Really, a lot of question marks. Too many for me to give him much confidence against someone like Teddy, who's been pretty dominant. Whereas Soulgazer, tricking Soulgazer is kind of like that in RU in a sense. He's one of the best RU players. His grasp on risk versus reward is fantastic. And he's just one of the best lower tier players of all time in SPL history at this point. Whereas tricking is just kind of a fireball. I mean, he definitely wins games. He beat Bellyburn pretty convincingly, but I'm not too big on him in all honesty in RU at least. I don't think he's worth retaining. Just my personal opinion. Really, Demantoid really seems to be pretty fire. He did well last week against Sam, who I regard pretty highly. I'm going to go with him 60-40. Don't know double as much, not going to give any analysis. These tiers again. All right, let's go. Updated Kanto, X-Line, Slowwind, Energy, Fakes, Top. Wow, that black-white game. All right, so first off, favoring Soulwind to beat Laurel 70-30 because it's Soulwind against Laurel, Energy, Laurel, whatever the fuck it is. Ugh, that's not a game, man. That should not be. I mean, I guess Blurry isn't much better, but like, ay, get me out. Updated Kanto against X-Line. I think this is going to be closer than people think. I think that the Sharks guy, X-Line, although Uber's main, is competent in Oros and pretty cool. A lot of ideas for us. Didn't even play too poorly in RBY as far as I know, but Kanto's been on fire lately. Kanto 4-1. A lot of good teams and strategies coming into the game. Really underrated player at this point. I think he's going to keep doing well. Expecting the 5-1 here. Going to go 60-40. And then Fakes Tough. Really cool game. Fakes is probably the better of the two, though. He should have beaten Roscoe last week, who was really solid to begin with. And Tough finally got his win against Badouche last week, but still pretty much struggling overall. Very weak start, uncharacteristic for him, the tournament. And overall, Favoring fakes, let's say 60-40. All right, down the stretch, last couple games. Stomachito's own Smurf is in. I don't talk about Smurf. Just going to say favoring Asta's 70-30, and that's going to be that. Fear against conflict. Probably favoring conflict just as conflict. This guy's mad salty still. Holy shit, though. Fucking get a grip, man. Just still favoring him. Fears has got a lot of cool ideas. I think he's pretty hip, modern, in GSC, but conflict's one of the best, if not the best GSCer out there. I'm gonna go 55-45 just because Fears is probably a bit more into it in the modern day, and it's clear. Conflict doesn't care about making playoffs anymore, considering he literally PM'd me that he says his sole mission is for my team to go 0-9 in GSC, which guess what? It's kind of impossible because we're 3-2. But you stick to your business, my man. And last game, Idiot Ninja, GG fan. Assuming this game happens, I'm favoring Idiot Ninja. Gideon fan actually played some pretty good RBY, but Ninja seems to have everything going his way, from luck to just kind of some really nice reads later on in games, even the middle of games. So I got to go like 51-49. Both these guys are pretty middle of the pack, but I'm favoring Ninja just because he's had more fortune and more success this tournament so far, and it's both of their first SPLs. Whatever experience GG fan had before this just doesn't really matter to me, to be quite honest. Anyway, let's tally it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9-3. Oh boy. It's probably not gonna be that lopsided. I guys think 8-4 is probably more realistic. But yeah, I'm gonna be favoring the Wolfpack for sure. Probably the most lopsided series of the week. Just gonna scroll down here for a second. Really looking forward to my series with the Tigers. They got a lot of cool guys, a lot of friends. I was helping them out last year in the playoffs /finals /tiebreaker, etc. Really looking forward to it. Hope that my buddies McMegan and Tom home bring their A game. These will be some pretty cool matches. Extra Nintendo actually is tomorrow. Looking forward to that. I always love seeing Bowman play. He's one of the best doubles players. Want to see if Century Express can continue his success. Diego, same goes for him. Had a nice win last week against Earthworm. And same for my boy Evan, who I actually was strongly considering the draft, but Kush kind of came up and I just couldn't pass up on him. So yeah, Tigers have a lot of good guys. Looking forward to our series with them. Hopefully we have, some cool games. Best of luck, my dudes. Anyway, I don't think I have anything else to say. So this is Finch. Just hopefully a bit more brief predictions than last week. And yeah, peace.